sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me.
Turn on your mind now, tune into the feed. We're planting digital flowers from a single tiny seed. Yeah, power to the collective in the data and the soul. The hive mind's getting louder, finding voice and control.
And here we go.
Welcome to the freak show, the best in town.
What is going on, Hive? I hope everybody's starting their weekend off strong. I will say, Mrs. Birdie and I, we were laughing. Somebody in the Hive was saying, like, I didn't know if it was because I was so trashed if I couldn't hear the music. And we both looked at each other and we were like, have you ever been that drunk where you don't hear anything? No, it was just technical difficulties, but top dog to that person. Best of luck the rest of the night and tomorrow morning. That's hilarious. That is hilarious. Let me just double check and make sure that I got the layout all set for the call-ins. I cannot wait to hear from everybody this evening. This is the first time that we're doing like a late night hotline call-in. And tonight's topic, as the first two have gone, are going to be about the Idaho 4. I was talking with some of my mods. I'm like, do we do, a specific, I don't know, a specific theory around it, like about the timeline or about the 911 call? And we decided to continue to just leave this be as an open call in. If it's not broken, don't fix it. I want to give you all the flexibility to speak your mind. I'm going to give everybody about 3 minutes, give or take. Please be respectful. I don't care if you cuss, but keep it in moderation. Don't say anything dumb. I have no problem kicking anybody off immediately. And outside of that, you can say whatever you want. You can come up here and you can say, Birdie, you are a dumbass. But just know then I also have the freedom to dish it right back. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to say what's up to everybody. Let's see who's all tuning in. Got already a couple people backstage. I did pin the link to the top of the chat. All you have to do is tap it. I can see you backstage if you have your camera on. Nobody else can, though. That includes when I add you to the stage. So it's only audio. If you want to turn your camera on or off, doesn't matter to me. Just make sure that your microphone is not muted and that you are somewhere quiet. Other than that, anybody can tap in. Anybody can call in. What's up, Polka Dots? Amy loves it. UK Karen. Chelsea Jackson. Growth Renewal. Rhonda. What's up, Sinful Bitch 420. UFO Dog. Crime Spy. Tara B. Amber Dawn Rising. Jeremy Pearson, Ren, Germelia says, gang, gang. Where's Crowned at? What's up, Discord? Dawn, Nurser, Thumper Rabbit Hole, Jody Designs, Cookie Puss. What? 976 Bird. It's a dope number. It's also I don't know what to say about the username. Like if I say that's an awesome username or if that's just, it's risky. Cookie Puss. I feel like that. Is that a nickname? Do you like insult somebody with that? I don't know. How are you doing, Mary? For Somewhere in Time. Lisa Marie Suds. Wild West. Lori, Linda. Thank you, UFO Dog. There's the link as well. Tara B says, I love this damn channel. Let me just pause too and say, I want to give a shout out to you all because between Dago and Sue Revelation Tarot. Those were all requests from the Hive, but how incredible is Sue? I was editing that, and typically, but when I do the lives, when I get done, I don't look at it till the next morning. I watched it last night, and then after I edited it, I watched my own the own quick cut. I mean, Sue was on fire last night, and just an extremely kind woman, very nice. She's the same way on camera as she is off camera, at least when we were talking, before and after the show. And it was epic. It was one of my my favorite streams that I've done. So I hope you all enjoyed that. And it was awesome of her to stay up till 3:30 in the morning in the UK time. But yeah, thank you to everybody that tuned in last night. That was also some of our best numbers we've ever had. All right, we got a couple people backstage. We got Scott Green and we got Cookie, so we only have 2 right now, which is fine. If nobody wants to call in late, also, that's okay. I got stuff to go over. We can continue into the live dig. I said it last night at the end of the stream. I'm going to open up the line. We're going to do some call-ins because I haven't done it yet this week. And if we go and nobody wants to pop up, no worries. So I'm going to open up these blinds quick. 1 second. You have a drink if that's your thing. Sit back, relax, crack one open with the Hive. Let's hear from you all this evening. Like I said, open discussion. You guys can say whatever you want. First up, we got Scott Green. Before I go ahead and I bring Scott Green up, if everybody could just please hit that like button. I had some technical difficulties. And we got 500 people in here. If we only got 100 and something likes, just please hit that like button right now. And I'll give you guys a second to do that. Hit subscribe if you have not. I believe I have the chat on subscriber only as well. So if you do want to call in, you're going to have to subscribe tonight. All righty. And then also a super exciting announcement. Sunday night, we are going live with our brand new merch store. Shout out to Dana, Shoe Girl in the Hive. She has busted her ass along with UFO Dog, Amanda B, Luna, people that have Dawn, everybody that submitted artwork for it. The new site is awesome. So if you do want any of the old merch on birdiebombshell.com, now is the time to get it from now until Sunday. So the MSNPC t-shirts, some of this stuff will be on there, but not all of it, especially the old hoodies. But we got great stuff. But these prices and everything on birdiebombshell.com, they will be up until Saturday, and then that site's gone, and we're going to be going forward with a new site. The Hive is moving onward and upward. Again, please hit that like button real quick. It costs you nothing, and it supports this channel more than you guys might think. As a reminder, any super chat over $4.99 is going to pop up right here. I will address it immediately, and then my mods, sorry, I don't know why I forgot that. My mods will also drop a tip link so that YouTube doesn't steal 60% of that. If you guys feel kind enough to give a tip, they will go ahead and they will drop that into the chat, and that will also pop up over $4.99. So without further ado, we have Scott Green, which I have a feeling I know exactly who this is. Something tells me that this person has a lot of information, but nonetheless, we got Scott Green for the first call in for tonight's Idaho 4 hotline.
Birdie, 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 Friday, 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 Friday. Let's ride. You've been dodging me, birdie.
Oh, well, Mr. Scott Green, what's it like being president of the University of Idaho?
You know, Dago, it
you just call
used
me
to be
Dago?
so easy. Oh, Jesus, I'm already on Dago. I've been on
All
Dago.
right,
You've been
next,
dodging me, and
next.
you just had Dago on last time. That's the last time I'll do it, birdie. To be the president of Idaho was once so easy, birdie. But these last couple of years have been tough on me. I have to tell you. It started with COVID. I had to deal with COVID. I got awards for it though. I fought for the university. You forget that. You forget that. I'm a good dude.
It sounds like you got deep pockets that might be corrupt with this whole University of Phoenix purchase.
What I am a public servant. I don't know what you're talking about. I give back to my university. That is my alma mater. I fought for this country. I'm a veteran, I think. I have a daughter that went to the university and a son that went to the university. I bleed Idaho. I don't know.
Well,
That's who I am tonight. But you've been dodging me, so I wanted to know how freaky you wanted to get in terms of how deep you wanted to go tonight. You've been doing a great job. I brought my my followers from X with me tonight. So I'd like to build that up before getting really crazy deep into it. But yeah, I do have a lot of stuff. Curious to know what you want, because I got everything you need.
Well, I don't doubt that. And just as far as time and other people backstage, let me ask you this. If I gave you 4 minutes, right? What does nobody know about this case that you're like just itching to tell everybody? Because I know we've chatted.
Here's the perspective that you should look at it. Think of me and you and all the common sense good people in this country that show up and go to work every day. We raise families, we pay our taxes, we follow the rules, and we know right and wrong, right? Think of that, all of those people, right? Put them on the coast of New York, right? All grouped together, we're all hanging out. And in Europe, there is a group of people that are all getting on a ship. And the ship is the Titanic. And this Titanic is Moscow, okay? Everyone on it is Moscow from the top down. So Scott Green is the captain of Moscow. But on the Titanic, you have poor people, you have rich people, you have workers, but there's a pecking order, right? So this Titanic is floating, and they're coming from their old ways, the ways it used to be done, right? And they're on this boat, and things are fine. They've got a beautiful thing going, but they hit an iceberg. We're waiting for this ship to come over, right? Come join us. We're good people. And there's good people on the ship, right? There's good people inside of Moscow. But there's also really bad people. But they're on their own little island, right? And they are being catered to. When they go to the feds, they have protection. When they go to the state, they have protection. Hitler has long blood inside of this state, to the point where he was a part of an organization that owned the property where this crime happened. This crime scene is demolished. If you're gonna not put yourself in the killer's shoes, Birdie, not only are you going to kill, but you are going to get an entire city to cover it up. How bad of a person do you have to be? How miserable of a person do you have to be to cover up the killing of college girls? What were you doing? inside of that house that was so gruesome that you had to demolish the house. Put yourself in the shoes of those guys. Make yourself the killer. How sick of a person do you have to be? What did you have to do over the last 15, 20 years inside of that house in White Harlem, as they referred to it as? That wasn't a girl's house. That was the boys' house with girls in it.
Well,
That's a boys' house with girls in it. Now you
gotta
can pencil in from there. I got all that for you at a different time. But you can take a chat and go wherever you want with it. There's the structure of what's going on there. It's not something little. It's not a random killer. Brian Koberger, he does have a connection to the case. He's involved. He's the one on the stand. I'm not saying he had nothing to do with it. He's there for a reason, right? That's connected to Pennsylvania, right? We've got ties all the way back to Pennsylvania. I got ties from Moscow to Moscow. There's a Moscow, Pennsylvania. There's a Moscow, Idaho. There's a change of guard in your presidency that just went through a government shutdown with no federal agents getting paid, with governors and Senate seats changing. And you see a guy like Epstein going down, well, that's going to take your media because that's a sick, twisted story. Just like on the East Coast, there's an Epstein Island. What do they do out west? What do they do in Idaho? There's money in Idaho. So now you're talking sick, demented, nasty shit, Birdie. It's coming out. I'm not the first one to know about it. You're not the first one to know about it. Chug your Busch Light, chug another one. You ain't gonna be the last one. Now I got all the guys inside of Moscow listen to me now too. They hear me, you little shitbags. I've been out here for 2.5 years. Talk to me. All the different accounts, the Dylan Mort accounts, the David Loesch accounts. Dylan Mort's innocent. Dylan Mort might be transgender. That's all right. I don't hate her for it. She can do what she wants. That's fine. Why is there unknown male DNA in there? Is it unknown male because Dylan's a male? I don't know. I don't have those answers, but it's, again, Dylan's a citizen on the ship.
Well,
Dylan's a citizen on the ship, just like the rest of them. Bethany's just a citizen on the ship. Hunter, they don't know that these girls are dead when they go in there in the morning. They don't know. Hunter doesn't know that those girls are slaughtered. They weren't there, but they're a part of the scheme. They're on the ship. The guys up top are saying, in order to save this ship, you got to ride with us. Otherwise, you're getting tossed off with them. There it is. You're either on the ship or you're not. And there's a couple moles out there that are off the ship, but they made it to a lifeboat and they got to me.
Right. Well, thank you, President Scott Green, for the call in. And I hope that you understand the sense of humor when it comes to the clip that I'm going to play, because I do know you know a lot about this case.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
I mean that with love, President Green, because I know we've chatted, but I got to tell you, if you didn't chat with you off the stream, the Titanic reference might have made no sense. You are onto something though. And look, I'm not saying this from an insensitive standpoint. There are a lot of people that have said that about Dylan. It hasn't come out. Who knows if it ever will come out? Who knows if that is the male DNA? But I do have to, give people credit that are absolutely convicted in their ways, right? I can tell you, Scott Green, as he's going by tonight, Drew Bledsoe in the chat. There's many other aliases that they use. They know their stuff for sure. As far as details, timelines, little things. Don't get me wrong. I'm doing that last clip, because I like you, but some of the stuff I'm just like, dude, you gotta at a certain point get to the point and tell us, what do you know? Because I know that you know it. You gotta get it to the chat, especially in the call-ins. And real quick, we got Custody Queen Kristen tuning in. Hit the damn like button is right. We got Dry Ciders. We got Drew Bledsoe. Speaking of the devil, and Kawanda 9102. Thank you for the super chat. Says, love your show, Bertie. Thank you so much for not letting this case go and continuing to keep investigating. Watching your live is one of my favorite parts of my day. Well, I can tell you this is my favorite part of my day, is sitting right here in this chair and chatting with the Hive. And next up, we have Cookie. How are you doing?
Hey guys, I'm all right.
That was quite the first call, but thank you for being patient. I appreciate you and everybody backstage. Real quick, Cookie, let me just remind everybody that link is pinned at the top of the chat. If you guys do want to join, right now is a good time. We got 3-4 people in line only. So is this Cookie Puss, by the way, or is this somebody else?
No, this is Half Baked Cookie.
Half Baked Cookie, what's going on? What do you got for us?
Well, you know, I was thinking when we were talking about how, as a parent, if I got that message from Kaylee, I couldn't let that go. Like, I could not let that go. So I started.
What message specifically are you saying?
Well, the one where she had sent to him that she had thought that they had been killed, or when he had a chance to call someone or get her help, it went ignored. And what parent does that? I'm thinking maybe Kaylee wasn't Steve's. Maybe she was adopted. And that's kind of where that fissure runs, where you could tell the upset from the mom, but Steve seemed kind of callous. And that didn't set right. You know, and then with the bodies being moved, I did dig, and it's medically possible. I think the experimental wounds were done to, after death, were done to re-promote blood loss, to make it look like the scene happened there.
What does experimental mean? Do you know?
Well, they're saying that these injuries happen after death. Well, I looked this up, and after death, you can still bleed, but it will pool. There's no spatter because there's no blood pressure.
Right.
But you will get droplets. You will get pooling. And moving the body, when it's relocated and you set it down, the blood, when it pools, it will still seep out of those wounds. And that's all we saw was drops and pooling. That was it. Where's the spatter? Where's the crime? And I thought that was very paramount for people to take into consideration.
So do you think that the crimes happened in the house, given that?
I think that they could have maybe been started there. I think a lot happened to separate them. For instance, Murphy, you know, that's one way to get one going one way and one going the other, and they're looking for their dog. You know, I think it was meant to be there, but we can all pretty much figure now they weren't being stalked. It was surveillance. You know, it was surveillance.
And the surveillance for what reason, right? Is it surveillance to protect? Is it surveillance to, although it's not, quote, stalking, right? But is there nefarious intent behind the surveillance?
I think it was looking for opportunity.
Looking for opportunity.
So, yeah, they were trying to find out how to, you know, how can we do this and make it believable? Watch their actions. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. I want you to finish up with, so if you had to say, like, who do you think's behind this? Is it the police? Is it Bratz? Is it Brian? Who do you think?
I think it's mainly the cops. I think that whole force is nothing but good old boys that like, you know, shooting guns and harassing, young women, you know, the typical good old assholes, pardon me.
Well, and you're not the only you're not the only person to feel that way. There's a lot of people that do feel that, but that's like any theory in this case, right? And you know what? And thank you so much, Cookie, for the call. I appreciate that. I'm going to finish this thought and
Yeah.
move on. Thank you for tuning in, and I appreciate you
Sure.
calling.
Thanks for having me.
Yep. Now, to that point, isn't it interesting? Like, I'm gonna move on to Redman here in a second, but I just wanted to finish that point with what Cookie said, and that's all these theories. People are very, very, very different. It could be police, it could be university, it could be frats, it could be an operation, it could be Brian. Why are there so many options? Well, what does it come down to? It comes down to the lack of transparency because somebody is not being truthful. Let me remind everybody in here, it's not our fault. This is not our fault. If this was straightforward and we had an accurate timeline and we did not have a billion redactions and we had a story that made even a fraction of sense, none of us would probably be sitting here. So people can get mad at the internet or get mad at the sleuths, get mad at the hive all they want. It ain't our fault. Blame your friends at News Nation, Dateline, Amazon. But don't blame the hive. Don't blame people on the internet for asking simple questions. Maybe look in the mirror to the investigators. That's what I have to say. There's a lot of cases that are straightforward, that you can see everything, that you don't have to have conspiracy theories about because people tell the goddamn truth. I get fired up about that. Why are we taking flack for just asking questions? Get out of here, simps. All right. Next up, we got Redman. What's going on, Redman?
Hey, I just want to tell you that I loved that lady last night.
Sue, she's great.
And I think that I think she was really on to something about the bodies being taken thereafter. I really do. And let me tell you one of the reasons why. Because you remember when I called in last time and we discussed the thing about whether that was Kaylee or Xana in that room.
Yep.
You're breaking up a lot. I noticed the other caller was breaking up too. I can barely hear what you're saying back to me, so bear with me.
Am I okay, Hive? Is this my audio? I thank you for pointing that out if it is me.
Yeah, you're like really like echoing and breaking up at the same time.
I'm wondering if you have both apps open, YouTube and the link you clicked. That might happen on your end to make it sound that way.
Oh, well, now you sound better. Anyway.
I got you loud and clear. The chat's got me loud and clear. So if on your end, I guess I won't talk much. I just want to hear your point.
Okay. So, I feel like if they were killed somewhere else and brought back there, that maybe whoever put them there didn't realize, where exactly they went, or they got confused or something. Because why else would Kaylee be in the room with Ethan? That just doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make any sense. And I'm working on something that I've never shared before. I was going to try to do it tonight prior to the call-ins. I didn't get it perfected, but I have this timeline theory that might give everybody a new look into the case. Like, I haven't heard it said yet. It's from things that Sherlock and Pav and Lana have said, that we've said, to what you just kind of mentioned there with why are people in certain rooms? Why would Dylan have thought that it was Kaylee? But then it comes out that it's Xana, right, in that bathroom. But I think you bring up great points. At the end of the day, Redman, right, there's a bunch of questions that are fairly straightforward that have not even a lick of truth of an answer to it. Would you agree with that?
Yes. And I have one more thing that I want to say.
Yep.
And this came actually not from me. This came from Master Nature, and I just wanted to give him a shout out if I was going to say what he said. But he said the other night that, you know, if you think about the fact that Dylan did not ask anybody else in the house what was that noise. She didn't ask anybody. She didn't tell anybody else about the man. She didn't have any conversation through text to anybody else in that house, and she didn't go to anybody else for comfort except for Bethany, the only person that was living in that house. So she knew. I feel that in my soul that she knew and Bethany knew when they were talking to each other that everyone was dead. Because if you think about it, I mean, really think about this. She could have asked any of those kids, you know, hey, did you hear that? Or anything that she talked to Bethany about. But she didn't. She didn't even call them until after she got, you know, after, what was it, like 4 o'clock?
I see the point that you're making, and I think it's definitely valid, right? Like Bethany does seem to be, what are the chances of that, right? In a house full of, you know, 4 people that are killed, and she just so happens to lean into the only other survivor is the
Yes.
big point. Yeah. Well, honestly, that's a great point. And I've had some requests to get Master Nature up on the stream. I've seen him in the Hive every now and again. If anybody has a connection to him, let him know. I'm open to having him on or going on his stream, whatever they want to do. But thank you so much, Redman. I appreciate you. I hope you have a great rest of the night.
Thanks, Birdie.
Yep. Cheers. All righty. I'm not going to lie. That first call with President Green, that shit just put me in a pretzel. Hive. So I'm going to reset. I'm going to center myself. I'm going to drink a little bit of this Bush latte, and then I'm going to bring up Jim Jones. All righty. Next up, we got Jim Jones. What's going on?
Yo, Birdie. Thank God it's Friday. And rest in peace to the victims there. One of the most horrific crimes, honestly, in my lifetime. I'm 55 years old. Just horrific. And talking about a tinfoil hat with everything, right from the get-go when they said, no one needs to worry. This was a crime of passion, right out of the gate. And I found it, what happened with me, Birdie, how I segued into this whole adventure here was, I was doing a little investigating on these cults, the Heaven's Gate, Jim Jones, Charles Manson. There always seems to be one that comes along every so often, and it makes huge noise because, you talk about mind control. Nothing's more mind control when you're thinking you might be able to hop on a comet and drink some Kool-Aid and cast off.
No shit.
And I was just researching what was going on, and boom, Moscow, Idaho comes up. The Christ Church. This pastor out there is I consider him a whack job. I'm a Christian myself, but this guy is over the top with some of his rhetoric, and there's a lot of victims of the church, from pedophilia to horrific things to women. It's almost scary. It's kind of scary, and I found out about that prior to this happening. And then when it happened, it immediately hit me. I said, this is a party debauchery house. And it just, now it ain't making no sense. I did a little research myself. A lot of these people are connected with the Idaho college, from the judges to the police to the DA. And they're all connected. They're all connected. And I wonder, after an event like that, people find God. There's a lot of people that find God. They find religion. And there's been no empathy, no sympathy. I haven't heard no one sobbing. I mean, I've shed a tear when I seen some, the pictures of these young, beautiful people that their lives were taken way tragically. But the people that are part of it, I haven't seen no emotion. And it's almost like those people in a cult. And I'm not saying, I just wonder how many people in the Idaho department, from the FBI, they're all connected. It's a you're in or you're out. And, from skull and bones to, he's opening up a church in DC, this pastor of the Christ Church, and he's a scary dude. Bertie, I know you're probably familiar with the man, but It doesn't make sense. I can't make sense of it from anything. And that's all I could, right out of the get-go, it's almost like, but anyways, Bertie, that's my little tinfoil hat thing. And I just got to commend you and your show for letting everybody speak their mind. But that was my take on it, Bertie. Have a great night. And everybody in the chat, man, you guys are great. I love the free thinking, and it's a beautiful thing, Bertie. God bless you. And have a great night, Bertie. Cheers, brother.
God bless you as well. Cheers. Thank you so much. I appreciate the call. That is, you know what? What a great call, because I can appreciate that. That is somebody that comes up there, or comes up here. They speak their mind. I'm going to let you talk. I'm going to let you say what you want. And there's something that like that gentleman right there, there's conviction in the voice. So, shout out to the alias of Jim Jones. I'm sure that probably is not the real name, given the fact that, he's talking about cult leaders and stuff like that. Is, it's an alias. But look, I researched, one of my most researched theories is the rite of the twins, which is the ritual. And it blew up. It's the only theory that's ever been taken down that I've done. You can't even find it on TikTok. I can't post it on TikTok. I got a strike from it. I'm not sure why, but it's real and it exists. And I can tell you that caller is not the only person to bring up the fact that there's a certain church out there to be careful with how I word it. That has a lot of influence. Whether that is what happened in this case or not, it is something that needs to be known. And just because you don't know about it, just because you haven't experienced it yourself personally, doesn't mean that it's woo-woo. Right? There are a lot of people that are effed up out there, or they believe in certain things, religious ideology, occult stuff. You guys know just as I do. But anyways, great calling. Thank you so much, Jim. I appreciate that. And we got Drew Bledsoe right back here up on the stage. So, Drew, I'm going to hold you to the 3 minutes here.
I don't know. That Scott Green guy seemed to know what he was talking about. And that Jones guy, he was onto something. I think there was a lot of crossover between that church, the people of the church he was talking about, and the FBI agents up there, and the people I was talking about that were all on this boat of the Titanic. So I mean, I really think what he was getting at, we're talking about the same people here, which I like to hear. At least we're not talking about random people that have nothing to do with it, like Brian Koberger. So at least he's, on the right track. So I do like where you're going with that. I wanted to jump back in to see if you had any more questions for me. I know we've talked before. I have no idea who that first caller was. The Scott Green guy, he came out of nowhere. I'm familiar with the Dylan Moore accounts and the Truth Pair accounts and stuff like that. But anyway, yeah, what do you got for me? Anything?
I'll ask you this.
Yeah.
What do you think happened? Just shoot us straight.
When? What are you talking about? What time? Like, are you talking about just what's your end goal here, Birdie? What's the goal? Are we trying to figure out what happened or like that night?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm asking you what happened a year before any of this or a year after. No, of course I'm talking about that night.
Well, like a year before when Hannah Clear dies, suspiciously, obviously that is a year before. So what are you referring to? This is
what happened on November 13th or November 12th to November 13th of 2022. What is your theory?
Kaylee was shut up.
By who and why?
I believe Rosendahl and the other rat, the big guy with the other one on body cam with them on that traffic stop at 3:30, the ones out in the field. They're out in the field there, right? So the murders are happening right behind them, like 50 feet behind them. So they take the girls out when they get home. Those are the footsteps from the back door. So if you see the footsteps from the back door, so they see the girls get home. Hunter and Emily have no idea that the girls are dead because they only know that something happened with Ethan. So they're two separate scenarios here, right? Hunter and Emily don't know. So the kids in this are all innocent, right? An accident happened. But at the same time, right? Now they have two girls murdered. And they know they have Ethan dead. So what does Hunter do? Hunter's going back in the house to make it look like Ethan was also stabbed, right? So it looks like Brian or the cop, right, took out all of them. So then they're calling Brian as an Uber driver. Brian Uber drove. So they're trying to get him from Pullman from Washington State at 4 a.m, but they keep getting Molly. And Molly keeps saying, I'm coming back. She tells Payne, I went there 3 times and I was there for 15 minutes. She keeps coming back. They're trying to they know Brian. He's a pawn, right? So they're trying to get him to come from Pullman so they can get him dropping that DoorDash off and then get him out. He applied at Moscow Police Department. They have his record. They know he's a weirdo. So they try to pull him there. They have these dead bodies. In meantime, they've got now, how long did it take Dylan to call 911? According to the story?
8 hours.
They don't have 8 hours, Birdie. The girls got home at what time?
1:56-ish.
1:56, right? Yeah. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. I guess that is 8 hours, right? No.
Yeah, it's about.
Yeah. Or 8.5, 9. So not only does Moscow PD, Rosendahl and these other cocksuckers, but Green is right there. Green lived in this house. He grew up in this house. This is Green's house. This is the boys' club, right? So they have this whole scene to themselves. They control the investigation for the next 48 hours. Let me
back you up.
Go ahead.
I'm going to give you another minute before if you want to create a different alias, but you just said
that's
BK
fine.
might have been BK was an Uber driver.
Right. So yeah, correct. So why do they keep calling for Jack in the Box? They're not hungry. There's not 3 orders to those apartments in that house. They're trying to get Brian Koberger there. They never get him there. That's where their plan gets flawed. They don't get their guy. They have their guy. They have the perfect target. We would have never thought about it. He doesn't deliver the food. Molly does. So they've got Molly there. Molly can't kill Ethan. Molly, they can't put Molly up there and say he killed Ethan. That doesn't work. Brian Koberger does, but they can't put him there. So that's where the sheath comes in. They're like, all right, we're going to try to get this sheath. That's why there's no DNA. There's no DNA on the sheath because The sheath wasn't there. The sheath has nothing to do with this. We think Ethan was either accidentally shot in the face or he killed himself, right? And then they make it seem like he was stabbed. Kaylee is killed because she's got Eric Rauer's baby, the private driver. He has the personal number. They're texting. He's not an Uber driver. He's picking her up. She carried his baby for him and his wife, right? She's about to exploit everything that's going on in this house. She's done with it. They're coming to kill her because she's talking to Adam. The FBI kills her. The cops kill her, right? And then they cover it up, but they don't cover it up by themselves. They've got Hitler underneath there. Hitler goes to the same church. Green goes to the same church. They all go to the same school. They're all on this ship together, Birdie. Brian is just a pawn. And they fucked up because they couldn't get him there. They almost had him. They almost had him. They would have put him on death row, dude. They would have put him on death. They were trying to put him on death row. They were trying to change the laws in Idaho when Biden was president to put him on death row for these. That's how badly they wanted to shut him up. They didn't do it. Ann Taylor stuck it out. She wasn't what was she supposed to do? She's got the entire state of Idaho against her. Not only that, she's got the FBI and the feds against her. They've got the feds saying it's the Elantra. They got the feds saying they did the IGG work. No one put their name on that. No one put their name on any of these reports. No one put their name on Brian Kohlberger. You know why? Because Brian Kohlberger wasn't there, motherfucker. Molly was. The cops killed those kids. Ethan overdosed. Ethan's best friend was killed by the frat. He died by the lake a year earlier. It's all coming out. I'm not the first one to know. You can call me crazy. This is 2.5 years. This is 2.5 years. You can call me crazy. You can say Dylan this, Dylan that. Look at the documents that Sarah tweeted the other day. Look at Dylan Mortensen's last name. It's Photoshop, dude. It's Photoshop. Bring it up right now on screen. Share it with everyone. Show them the document that Sarah tweeted out. Mortensen's name is pasted in an official court document to hide her real name, Robb, R-O-B-B. Her dad's name, her mom's name's Lily Robb. She might be transgender, bro. That's why she's got the butterflies. It's okay. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. It's cool. I have nothing against it. I'm here for the truth and to free a man that didn't kill nobody and to get some nasty motherfuckers that are pulling some shit and getting college girls in and out of a house for some rich white dudes, some politicians, some nasty motherfuckers. I'm about that. I'm about getting these nasty dudes. There's good people like me and you out here all over the place trying to find the truth, trying to get kids through school, get them good jobs, not nasty rats like Payne trying to cover for murders. No, I ain't about that. We from the Midwest. I'm from Milwaukee. I'm with you. What are you talking about? This isn't bullshit. Yeah, it's coming too, and they're not gonna. There's nothing they can do now. Now they're gonna hear this, right? All these dudes that have been following me for 2.5 years while I've been fucking with them on X, right? I know all of them. All of them. Now, I do feel bad. I went after Dylan and Bethany and all these kids, right? Kids didn't have anything to do with it. This is grown man stuff. This is adult stuff. This is nasty dudes, right? And it's up to us and the public to say, nah, we ain't with that. We ain't with that. Mr. Green, you're not the president of this university anymore. None of our tax dollars, federally or in the state, are going to this bullshit out in Idaho no more. Absolutely not. Idaho's a cool state. I'm sure Moscow's a cool city. I'm sure it thrives. I'm sure it's beautiful this time of year in the fall for an Idaho Vandals football game. Not with Scott Green in charge, it's not. Not today.
Well, I agree with your part or with your point about that in regards to this is not, everybody's issue, right? This corruption should not be the taxpayers' issue. And Moscow and Idaho and Washington and Pullman, yeah, I'm sure they're great places to live. I appreciate you calling in, dude. I mean, I know that you know a lot. Clearly, and guys, I'm so sorry, but at the same time, it's hard for me to interject into that. You guys know me. I have no problem cutting somebody off. None. Zero. Zilch. I mean, I let it go twice now. So I can appreciate the passion. I feel like a dick because I know that he's passionate, I'm lost. I'm so lost. I feel like I just drank a quart of Fireball and I got onto a tilt-a-whirl machine with a blindfold on, trying to throw darts at something to just like, there's something there, but I also have no idea at the same time what I just listened to. And I'm not being mean, Drew. I know it, but it's like it's just a lot, dude. It's so much. I can't respond. I can't listen clearly. So it's just scattered. Yeah. Anyways, next up we have Therese. Which Therese, you're gonna have to mute me or me or you.
What do I do?
Don't. You're gonna have to close your YouTube app.
Okay. I'm a boomer.
No, don't say that. You got time still. How about now? Oh, I hope that didn't just end after she said that. Oh.
Is it closed? No.
That's okay. Don't worry about it.
Nope. I'll try once more. Let me try once more.
Okay.
There. How's that?
Test. Do you have me on your TV or something?
No. I'm just on my little phone. And honestly,
do you have me on speaker?
Probably. Let me see. Okay, I had the mic on. Oh, damn. I'm sorry. I feel so stupid.
Don't feel stupid.
What's it doing? What is it?
It's echoing back.
Okay, shoot.
Let me try something on my side.
What the heck I'm doing?
It's okay. Do you see a button that says speaker? It'll look like this. I'll show you on the screen if you can see it. One second.
I have a microphone. Oh, that might be the speaker. How's that?
Hello?
Hello?
Nope, we got you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Everybody can hear me. Twice.
Dang. Well, how about if I just say what I want to say real quick and let you go?
Yep. I'm not going to talk. You just give your point. I'll shut up.
Okay, that would work. Thank you so much. First of all, congratulations on the growing of your family. I'm so excited for you.
Thank you.
I wanted to just say real quick to this Jim Jones guy that had called. This is just kind of an aside. In 1978, I was turning 18 and graduating from high school, and I announced to my parents that I was going to, I don't even remember if it was California or what it was, because I was going to infiltrate the place and I was going to get to the bottom of this Jim Jones thing. And you want to talk about terror on some parents' faces. And I was dead serious. I thought I could like infiltrate and make everything okay and whatever. Anyway, that's just kind of a funny memory for me because, God, my parents. Here's the main thing I wanted to say. I've put this in a few different creators things that I think what really would help is the general public. My very best friend doesn't, she's like, oh, he pled guilty. Jesus Christ. What really needs to happen is we need to come up with something for the general public. And I'm more than willing to, I can't lead it because I'm technologically impaired, but I have a lot of ideas of what needs to be said to the general public. Like, come on, you've got to take a look at this case. So I've put that out there before with my email that if anybody was interested in working on that with me, email me. And I mean, all you have to do is listen to that first 911 call and then compare it to the transcripts, for God's sakes. Come on. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. And thank you for what you do. I love you.
I love you too.
I love you too, and thank you.
I'm going to just turn you on mute, but thank you so much for calling in, Therese. Please put your email in the chat so that the mods can put it up on the screen. I do think that there's something there with the general public, right? Which, let me just quick address it. Oh Christ. You know what? God, just please watch over me. I got Detective Mowry backstage next. Am I being tested tonight? Certainly feels like it. I'm going to get another Busch Light ready to go for Detective Mowry. But I do just want to say, there is something to be said about waking the general public up, where we somehow meet them in the middle, where you got to look into the case a little bit as the general public if you haven't yet. And we can't go as granular as we've been going with how much we've looked into it at the same time. So again, it comes back to like, what are things that you can say to somebody with common sense where, my ideas were, can you put Brian Koberger in the house? Well, then you could play the prosecutor saying, we cannot put him in the house. Then you say, well, where was the DNA found? And was it exclusive? Well, the DNA was found in the house and it wasn't exclusive. Then it comes back to intent. And then you just have to play the clip of them saying, he didn't look up anything that any other criminology student wouldn't be studying. Right. And so that was my thought process. If there's a better way to do it, I'm all ears. But somebody said, yeah, I am being tested this evening. So also real quick, halfway through here next week on Wednesday, I got the custody queens and I got Ron. We're going to be talking about the WSU lawsuit. And then also on Tuesday, I just saw Phoenix's name in the chat. Phoenix is going to be on Tuesday. So we are going to have Phoenix on Tuesday, custody queens and Ron, an appellate attorney, I believe is the label to go with for that. Sorry, Ron or Kristen or Sam, if you're listening and that's the wrong title for him, but that will be on Wednesday. Phoenix will be on Tuesday. So nonetheless, before I bring up Detective Mowry, let me just crack open another Busch latte. Detective Mowry, my social battery is dead. What do you got for us?
Just looking at you drinking one of those lady drinks right there. So,
All right.
I won't even say anything about your mom.
All right. What do you got for us tonight, brother?
You know what? I think I'm just going to give you another analogy using the Titanic disaster. How about that?
Oh, Christ.
No, I won't do that. That was awful. But I gave you this roadmap the last time we talked. I told you what to look for to make a lot of this stuff make sense with the confrontation clause. And yes. I don't know if you researched it or...
I have. I just haven't had time to put it into slides, but you did email me. I read it. I've talked to my mods about it. Do you want to give a elevator pitch on that right now? I'll give you extra time.
I may not need it, but basically you'll never see this person in the documents. So let's say on the 14th of November, there's definitely 100% another person. They got him blanked out on the DNA profile. And so what happens is, let's say another camera that's close to the residence captured a different vehicle and they got his license plate. Then they got his electronic records. Then they found another electronic email that maybe came from Brian Koberger. Well, if that person then dies or whatever, he can't be charged in that crime. You can't use any of the evidence that got you to that point against Brian Koberger, because the confrontation clause does not allow you to cross-examine or be able to confront that evidence. So that evidence cannot come in, which would make the prosecution have to formulate a different approach on how they got to him, whether they made it up or... So again, if he was being charged with Brian Koberger, that would be a statement of a party opponent. That could come in. It could come in under what's the federal rule, like 18801 D2E, statements by a co-conspirator. That could probably come in.
It's the co-conspirator thing. Yeah, I don't know the exact number, but
basically, because he cannot confront or cross-examine the evidence which is coming in against him, whether it be a dead co-defendant, which can't be charged because they're dead anyways, it's unconstitutional. So you may see a whole bunch of different videos and evidence that is probably in the prosecutor's office that would be really great for his case, but they didn't turn it over because he's not in it. So,
well, and Detective Mowry, well, I got you up here. Let me just put odds on the screen. I'll give odds a chance to answer this, assuming she means Brian Koberger did it and not Brent Kopaka. I'm not trying to put odds on blast if she means Brett Kopaka. But what do you have to say to somebody who hears you say that and then just says, "Oh my God, Brian Koberger did it"?
You talking to me?
Yeah. What do you have to say? Anything?
Come on, dude. Look at that guy. He didn't. If he did it, he didn't do it by himself. I'm sorry. He walks like a penguin. He's a weirdo. He just didn't do it.
I thought that was
like, that dude doesn't. He doesn't go to the gym. He don't lift weights. He's not an athlete. I don't give a shit if he took a boxing class when he was 13 years old for 5 minutes. Come on, look at him. Look at that guy. You see him walk in Costco. He looks like an idiot. Like, there's I'm sorry. Yeah.
Well, dude,
he's such a puss.
Yeah, well, he'd get snapped in half, right?
Right.
And that's why, I don't know if you were tuning in. Like, I gotta say, you tune in regularly. There's people in here that tune in regularly. There's conspiracy theories, which is just contrarian thinking, right? Where we're like saying stuff that you said with certain clauses, or maybe the timeline, is really X, Y, or Z.
That's court stuff. That's, you don't see it because that's protecting other people's right to a fair trial. So that's not really conspiracy. That's just how the system works. Unfortunately, you won't see that.
Right. But
it sucks, but
like Scott Green, Drew Bledsoe, like, I'm not roasting him. I've never been that, and I'm not even calling him a conspiracy theorist. I'm just saying, like, there's just a difference. I'm all for listening to that, but I'm all for listening to it. Everybody knows what I'm trying to say. I'm all for listening to that, but like, you have to make sense of it, or you have to say it in a way that, like, somebody that's not in your brain can follow, right? And I think that that's something that we at least do here, where even if you don't think of it first, you can follow a thought process because it's laid out in a way that, here's why I think that.
Of course. I mean, a second suspect, I mean, it really would fill in a lot of the questions and the timeline.
All of them.
Like, it does. And the fact that Dylan opened her door 3 times and closed it. I mean, I don't know if she saw the same dude. She saw a firefighter one time. She saw a guy in a mask with a big nose one time. She saw a guy with a unibrow one time. I don't know. Maybe 3 dudes. Maybe Leonardo DiCaprio. I have no idea. I mean.
Well, I appreciate you, Detective Bowery. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for taking it easy on me tonight.
After that call, man, I was like, man, that went south quick. I'm not gonna say anything about his mom. So,
well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm sure my mother appreciates that, and I will talk with you soon.
Absolutely, my dude.
Have a good one. Have a great night. Yep, you too. Thanks, bro. All righty. Let me just say, too, I want to give a shout out to everybody in here again for keeping an open mind. Odds, when I put that on blast, it's not being mean to you. It's just you're walking into, and this is not even meant to be a corny joke. Like you're walking into a freaking hornet's nest of people that have looked at every word damn near of every document and watched every clip of this case. So for you to say, oh my God, Brian Koberger did it, what you're doing is you are exposing yourself and you're really saying, I watch Ashley Banfield talk about Koberger's muffin tops. I like Koberger's muffin tops more than I like the truth. That's what you're saying in all of our heads, at least in my head. That's how I interpret it. That's how I would echo it out, is that that's what you're saying. It's not being mean, but it just really, really screams from the rooftops that you don't read shit about this case. So, nonetheless, next up, we got Heart of Gold. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Can you hear me?
I got you loud and clear.
Perfect. First of all, thank you for doing what you do. Thanks to the Hive. I absolutely love your show. I'm so happy to be around everybody that can finally open their minds. I've been like this my entire life. Quick story, when I was younger and I would take road trips with my mom, I would see like random cars sitting on the highway and I would be like, Mom, write that down. We're going to see it on Unsolved Mysteries. And so I would keep a little notebook when I was like 9, 10 years old, hoping
of
that
like license plates?
Yes, license plates, the color of cars. Hopefully, because I always wanted to like solve a crime, right? So I would write it down in like a little notebook. And my mom just used to laugh at me and goes, oh, no, that's probably just a stranded car. And I would be like, no, Mom, one day we're going to see this on Unsolved Mysteries. And so, anyways, I have this notebook with a bunch of license plates. I've never solved a crime. But anyways, short story, I really want to come on here to like dig at you and DA. But first, I want to talk about something else.
Wait,
so
dig at us?
Yes, because I wanted to talk about like you guys, why he would take a deal and that sort of thing, about what you guys did a couple weeks ago. But first, I want to say, I want everybody in the Hive to think about something. I mean, have you ever been driving and saw like a car wreck or just an accident or whatever, and then immediately saw the news, right? How many times have you seen that happen? Because I see it not daily, but all the time, right? And when this first happened, first thing I thought was, no way did someone commit this crime in 7.5 minutes. No way did that happen, right? And the second thing, when I first saw the body cam come out, they didn't secure the street, right? They only secured around the house. And then you didn't, in any of the body cam footages, you didn't see like a news reporter in front of the house. And you see that all the time within seconds of an accident. I don't know if they have like, what's that called when you can hear police, what's that called? Police
like the
scanners?
scanner? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know if the news stations or whatever have like police scanners and that's how they get to the wrecks and the crime scenes so quickly, and how they're able to put them on TV
I'm
so
sure the
quickly.
news does. Yeah.
But everywhere, I mean, when I go, I don't watch local news, but when I was younger, I did. You always see them. And I know my brother, before he passed away, was in an accident, a rollover accident where his friend passed away, and they had the rollover car. So they were there within minutes, right? But not on this case. You can watch hours of the body cam, either all the way up until it got dark, and you don't see any news people in the body cam footage.
It's a great point.
Right? My other point being is, I personally think nobody died. I don't think anybody is dead in this house at all. Not only for the news cam, I think we're being sidewinked or hoodwinked or whatever the word is.
Mm-hmm.
Because the other thing is a police officer is not allowed to pronounce someone deceased. It has to be a paramedic or the coroner. And when the EMT comes up on the body cam, the police officer sends them away. And they can't do anything until they pronounce them deceased. A paramedic or a coroner that is the rules. I don't know who made those rules, but that's the rules, right? You have to be
Right.
pronounced deceased. And no one ever pronounces them deceased ever. I mean, I don't know what time the coroner came in, if it was the next day or I
Well,
haven't
it was
read this.
after Brett Payne shows up without a body cam and Ashley Jennings is on scene.
Right. And that's like what, 12 hours later?
5 p.m. ish. So if you were to take the actual crime if you were to take the actual timeline being 4 a.m., whatever,
So
for
like
math purposes.
12 hours
12,
later.
13 hours. Yeah.
So Ashley goes in there and then she leaves with her people and then the coroner goes in there. That's like unheard of. So my point, I think that, so think about it. They always say like you can't keep a secret with more than 2 people, even 3 people, because there's always someone that's going to leak it, even with your friends. You know, like let's say you and your wife want to keep your baby, the gender a secret. It's like, don't even tell like your mom because someone's going to tell someone. So I don't think that the whole Moscow police department or whatever is like in cahoots. Like, I think even like the police that went in there, like that rookie that went in there at the beginning or whatever, when you watch TV, Payne, when you watch TV and stuff, like everything looks so real and they have those baby dolls that you can buy or whatever that looks real. Like, I think they probably extracted 4 people out of there. And I think they probably put like dead bodies that looked real. And I think even Hunter probably thought that he took the pulse, if that's what he did, took the pulse of someone that was a real whatever and it looked real. And then to me, if it was my friends, I would have went in there and checked. Like Ethan was his best friend and he's like, I didn't even check Ethan. Like, are you kidding me? I would have went in there if they were so-called friends of everybody. Like, you wouldn't go in there and check those people.
What about a stranger? I even think about that, right? Everyone's saying they're best friends. Which don't get me wrong, I'm not disagreeing with that. But I'm saying there's a normal human instinct to be like,
exactly,
what is going on? And like whether you scream, shout, yell for help, run, try to take over the situation and protect people. We saw nothing of that manner.
Right. But I'm an empath, so I help everybody. Like, so I would do that. Like, I would help people on the street and give them my last dollar. So it's really hard for me to understand any of this because I'm so. Okay, so I only have 30 seconds. One thing. So when you and DA were saying, like, he would have got a fair trial, I call BS because I have a friend right now that's sitting in prison for a murder he didn't commit. He's been in there 10 years, going after appeal after appeal after appeal. It went all the way up to the Supreme Court. And the judge, even the judge on the Supreme Court, was like, how in the hell is a guy sitting in prison for 10 years that had 0 evidence against him? No DNA, no shoe prints, no nothing. And he's sitting in prison for 110 years in Montana, which is where I live, with 0 evidence. And the appellate woman prosecutor says, well, it rarely happens, but it does happen. And so he's still in prison for a murder he didn't commit. And you can actually watch where it's on YouTube, the Supreme Court hearing.
Are you in our Discord by chance?
No, but I should be on there.
You should share it in there. We have an area for this. I'm curious to watch it myself.
Yeah. So he's been in there for 10 years for a murder he didn't commit. And the only reason why, and so I think Brian Kober would not have gotten, especially in Idaho. That's why I think that they took the deal, because he didn't want to And I think people are not as smart as you think. I think 12 random people who don't know anything about justice suck ass. And I think he would have gotten the death penalty regardless, because I don't think they're smart as the Hive. And I think they just randomly call people off the street that are idiots. So yeah, I'll join the Discord and I'll share it. And not only that, but I don't know a lot of people. Like, I've always had a close, small thing. And this is the second person that I know that has went to prison for a crime they didn't commit. The first one was in high school in '87, and he spent 15 years, got out, sued the state or the county or state of Montana, and won like 3.4 million. And you can actually go listen. There was someone that did a podcast. It's called Absurd Result. And that's because that was the law that they actually found the guy like 40 years later. Yes, Absurd Result. And if you go listen to that podcast, someone in another city, Missoula, I think, did that. And they talked to the guy who actually went to prison for it. Crazy,
That
huh?
is interesting. And thank you so much for the call in. I appreciate that. I appreciate the I thought it was funny that it's like, I'm gonna take a dig at you and DA. I'm not gonna lie, my guard went up. I'm like, wait, you're gonna take a dig at us? Well, and in addition to that, Hive, I'm gonna pee as fast as I can. 1 minute. When I get back, I'm gonna hold everybody to 3 minutes. No exceptions. And I'm sorry if you were in the first hour, you got way more leeway. We got a full backstage. There's over 1,000 people in here. I would love to come back to 1,000 likes and, the backstage still full. But let me just quick play a song while I am taking a leak. I'll be back in a minute.
I wanna be the best in the game, invest in my name. Check no restraints, I'm obsessed with the pain. I ingest, I retain, assess and I change. Possessed by the thought I'll be free one day from society's restraints. Money, clout and fame, mud, disease, a plague. We all love to hate, have to play the game, have to make a name. All our insecurities are on
This
display.
is war with the enemy. Think that it was meant to be. Living in a time where disease is on every screen. I won't let them fester me. I know most are festering. Negativity is a plague for the mentally weak. No mercy, all I got is working. Never stop searching, never quite so thirsty. I'm toxic and psychotic, with this logic you can't stop it. It's been chronic since I was a boy, so neurotic and chaotic.
Built to last with the webs I'm weaving. I could change the past with all I'm achieving. Got my foot on gas, never stop competing. If you break like glass, then this life's gonna eat 'em. Make mistakes real fast, then you learn how to beat 'em. If you take off the cast, you can see all the healing. If the pain's in the past, move on from the grave and put your foot on the gas. Don't never stop competing, yeah.
I've been doing this, I'm on it. I just wanna be iconic. Sipping on a gin and tonic. Got me going off when I'm on this topic, yeah. If I ever play, I want it. You know that I'm always honest. Stay away from those who are toxic. Keep 'em out your face, no way, you don't want it, yeah.
Don't try to drain my energy. The enemy is everything. It's mentally, unhealthily, spreading like a rare disease. But I won't let it get to me. I don't need your therapy. I can leave a legacy of leading by intensity.
All right. It's a minute 30. Nonetheless, I'm excited to go into the second half of the call-ins right now. Next up, we got Ajira. How are you doing?
Birdie, birdie,
Oh, no,
birdie,
no.
birdie. Round two.
Oh, no. Oh, man. PTSD.
I'm just playing with you. I had to do it, though.
No, that's funny.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Awesome. Well, of course, as I'm sure many of us listen to the show a million tangents pop up in our minds and we're like, oh shit, I want to talk about that. And oh shit, I want to talk about that. So I wrote down a couple points that I just wanted to touch on. So it's a little disjointed since there's been some, a few people, but it kind of all ties together. So what does he go by? Detective Mowry? The Titanic dude? Oh. Birdie, you're frozen for me. Shit. I might have to leave and come back. Because I don't know what's happening, but you're totally frozen. Sorry, I'll exit out and come back because I don't want to take up anyone's time.
Dude, I'm so sorry.
What happened?
I don't know. I was texting Mrs. Birdie and I'm like, we're ordering an Ethernet cable immediately.
Yes, I need one too.
I'm so sorry. So
No, I'm fine. I'm sure everyone's fine. I'm just glad that it wasn't me.
no, it's not you. It just, if there's one thing that sends me as I'm sitting here staring at the Wi-Fi logo in the bottom of my screen, like that is, I'm like flushed now. I get so pissed. So I'm gonna calm down. I'm back.
You're good.
We're all
Take a
good.
sip of your latte.
Thank you.
There you go.
I'm
Deep
empty.
breath.
I need a new one.
Uh-oh, new latte. While you take a breath and enjoy your beverage, so the Titanic guy, he was talking about Hunter, maybe doing something to Ethan, or I forget exactly what he said, but that reminded me of a policy that the fraternities have. I've heard about this through the grapevine. I don't know if it's 100% factual, but I don't have any reason to disbelieve it. But the policy for the frats and probably the sororities is if an incident happens on campus, you are like, it's in your contract with your fraternity. You don't call the police first, you call the frat president, and they call, Green or whoever the president of the university is. And they do that to try and, bunker any crime that happens on university property or that's affiliated with the university, just like how a lot of universities have their own police, and how a lot of universities have a problem with their police departments taking, SA accusations seriously and doing real investigations and all that. But they do that so they can kind of manage the damage control. And so it wouldn't shock me that the reason for this delay, well, part of it is that the kids obviously found them earlier and they notified, the president of their frat, and then they notified Green, and there was a whole internal management of the situation before the staged 911 call. So, I don't know, something he said just made me think about that.
Well, I think you're right on to think about the what do you want to call it? The procedure, right? The procedure for frats to call somebody internally prior to letting it get to an outside
Right, because they want to do
enforcement.
damage control before it goes, out of their control, before they can't manage it.
Well, but then it kind of, and I guess my brain goes to like, but 4 people being murdered is doesn't that seem like a way different situation than somebody who's like
you would
fucked
think
up and passed
so.
out? Yeah.
In a big city, yes, that doesn't make any sense. But you got to remember, like, I'm from a small town, but I live in a big city, and everyone knows everyone in a small town, and everyone went to school with everyone, or everyone's related through marriage, or there's 6 degrees of everyone in a small town. And with a university that brings in that much money, protecting it is extremely important to the people who make decisions and the people that have money. And it's protect the perception of safety at that university at all costs, because everyone's jobs depend on it. But it's not like we care about our community so much. I care about my own personal bank account so much.
Right.
But and when you grow up with, it's so similar to what happened in Karen Reed and in what's happening in Canton. And it's so similar to Delphi. I feel like these 3 cases are so parallel. And it's actually really bizarre because one of my notes here is, I forget which FBI agent it is, but one of the FBI agents that was involved in Moscow, he's from Massachusetts. And he worked in Massachusetts quite a bit. And there's a very bizarre connection between the corruption that goes on in the Boston area and him being in Moscow, which I found very bizarre. And then, yeah, it's a very random thing, but, there's not a lot of eyes in Moscow. There's a lot more eyes on Boston, but not the suburbs like Canton. But it's just that same thing, that small town. Everybody grew up with everybody. Everybody knows everybody, and people do what they think is right, protecting someone they think they know, but they really are participating in some effed up stuff. And then to bring it to Delphi with the Odinism thing, like the Aryan Knights kind of, I don't know, breathed air back into the idea of Odinism and kind of took the religion hostage and made it like a white supremacist thing in the prisons in Idaho. And the Odinism thing is the real culprit in Delphi. I mean, I know I'm not the only one, but I'm pretty confident in saying that Abby and Libby were murdered literally for a sacrifice for those religious purposes, which I know sounds crazy, but all the evidence points to it.
Well,
And
I was just gonna say to that point, guys, I always feel like such a dick kicking people. I said I was gonna hold people to 3 minutes. That with the Wi-Fi shenanigans there. To finish that point, there is something that is whatever you want to say, like an instinct of this ritualistic occult numerology aspect to the Idaho 4 that it's not just by chance. It's not one number. It's not just a little aspect of it. It's not, 2, 3, 4 things. There's so many things. And thank you, Ajir, for the call. I appreciate that. And next up, we got Casey Bear. I'm going to add Casey Bear to the stage. What's going on?
I just want to be back, Jake.
You got me? Casey Bear? We can hear you. Casey Bear. All right. Next up, we got Mary G. Champ. What's going on?
Hello. Do you, am I online, please?
You are live. We got you loud and clear.
Oh, perfect. How about that? Okay. Because I'm here in Quebec City and I'm so pissed off because I get a way to understand all of the event. It's easy. I'm 53 years old. I'm doing drugs. I was not on meth, but on speed. Everyone here, 1% of 3 in Quebec City do speed. Okay. And the cartel goes, and the cartel goes down the way to Mexico, Hells Angel in California. And here it's also Hells Angel. I could have you 50,000 speed for $2,000, but I'm not a drug dealer. So I think that first thing, stop calling them kids. They drink a lot, they party a lot, they're not studying a lot, and they are not kids. They're almost adult. How about an overdose? Because it happened when the drug is bad, okay? So 1 or 2 overdose, that's my first point. And then Moscow police let them on drugs for years, okay? Because in university, everyone is taking Adderall or some speed shit. Police of Moscow let them do it. So police of Moscow are so bad cops, and they don't want people to know that they let them do drugs because they will be responsible, So how about Ethan and Xana are extracted of the situation? 1 overdose at the top. FBI mask it like an horror to get us out of the easy line. It's really easy. Brian Koberger is really not a weirdo. No, and he's not a murderer. He's probably the best person to catch the cartel, and for that he have to go to jail, because that's the way to know about the system. I've been in jail. I'm selling drugs by my past. And here in Quebec City, when people are really too annoying to get drugs, they kill them. With putting some too much fentanyl to get them passed out. Okay, because if you have a zombies like in California injecting their cells on the street, police cannot do anything for them. But here it's cold. So and the student and the drugs. Remember Taylor Shaw Business? When she go to Texas, she got her degrees in college, but when come back near the Ontario Lake or the Lac Supérieur, she's doing meth, and she do really bad stuff to her boyfriend, you know. So that house is not is it solid, huh? You know, there was no motive to get down the house. So what would be a motive to get down the house, go down on the toilet sink, because there's a lot of bag of drugs in that. So I got two theories. Moscow police go do a shutdown at that house and kill the both of the girls, or just one girl with gunshot. That's explained the gunshot, and then they mask it, and they Dylan, they told Dylan and her boyfriend maybe are the drug dealer of the Moscow university. That's why maybe Dylan and the spiky red hair goes up, they fight, someone die or something like that, and Moscow police will be also responsible for that because they let them do that. They know. Moscow police know she was banging the girl, the blonde girl, sorry, Bethany. She was banging with a cop. So cops know all about that stuff, but they don't want people in America knows that they know, because they will be so bad figure. Police, cop. Here, cops are stupid, okay? So stupid they cannot. They arrest me for 14 speed, but they will miss the real drug dealer just ahead of me, because if they want good cops, I'm gonna be a real good inspector, because I've been in that criminal way. I'm still in it. So I know that everyone here at university, I'm doing speed since 2013, and it's 25 cents each. So this is really cheap, huh? It's really cheap if you think of Adderall or things like that. So
Wow.
there was line, huh? There was a drug line on in the house. Huh? Who's doing drug?
Yeah, I would say like you should stop telling on yourself. And I don't know if we've been infiltrated tonight. It kind of feels like it. This is so different than any other call-in, and I'm not shitting on people, but see, this is where like my ADD and like 5 bush lattes kind of I'm like, I just want to listen. And then it gets into this point where I'm like, shit, there's 1,000 other people listening right now. And I'm like, see in the chat, they're like, you gotta stop. Next. And I'm just like, Christ. Well, nonetheless, I'm glad to see Casey Bear back up stage. There was I had added Casey Bear. Hopefully we can hear him this time. What's going on, bro? Talk. We can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, we got you loud and clear.
What's up, man?
Well, I don't know if you heard that last caller or like
man. Oh my god, dude. Come on, man.
I saw you laughing.
Dude, I told you don't bring me on. I just wanted to be on backstage.
Well, you're all good. What do you got for us?
Oh, none. I was just basically just listening to everything about, the whole Idaho 4 case and everything. About, everybody don't think Brian Coward did it. I don't think he did it neither, man.
Yeah.
What
do you think is the motivation for him not saying shit as he's being paraded around?
It was just all he was set up and everything, and everybody's wondering, like, everybody's talking about, like, why ain't his mom and dad talking or anything? Because they already know what's going on. That's why they're not saying anything.
Do you think it's pre-planned to the point of nobody died, or was it like a debrief? This is what happened and it sucks. You're in this position, but you have to go along with it. What do you think?
That's what I'm thinking. Truthfully, that's what I'm thinking.
The first
man.
or the second?
The first one.
Okay.
Like they know what's going on and everything like that. He didn't do it, but they're just playing along with it. That's why they're not saying a damn word.
Do you think he's going to get let out?
You know what? I really think he's gonna get let out with nobody knowing that he is out. Just
Like a
like
Witsec thing?
when you was on when I think Sue, I missed last night because wasn't feeling good. How she was talking about like he's gonna get out, nobody's gonna know, and he's gonna be somewhere like him and his family's gonna be somewhere, and nobody's even gonna know. I think that's what's gonna happen. I
Well,
really do.
where are you at from like
I'm in St.
from
Louis.
no, I didn't
Oh,
mean
I'm sorry. My
I didn't mean
fault,
that,
bro.
bro. I meant like where are you at from a standpoint of like, are you able to wrap your head around like things like that can happen, like Witsec, undercover agents? Like, is
Definitely,
that
man.
something that it's not
Definitely,
a stretch
yes.
for you?
Yeah, I had my cousin got set up by cops, DNA, FBI, all of them. So no, they do that shit.
Man, so if you were Brian, and let's say this is a legitimate case, just for the last question here, what would you do in his position? Would you have your parents speak out? Would you be screaming from the rooftops? Would you have your lawyer
Man,
be doing PR
sure,
shit? What would you do?
man, I would, as this stuff is going on, it's going on too damn long. I would have his lawyer, his mom, and everybody put it into this shit. I really would,
Just
because
enough's enough.
he's not guilty, man. I mean, yeah, he didn't do the shit. He didn't do the crime, man.
Yeah.
He did not kill them girls. There's no way one person can stab that many people with 8 minutes. Because you know why? I was in my garage setting some shit up and tried it, and dude, I couldn't do it.
We were talking about the whole Mythbusters thing. Like, people think it might be a little bit weird to do that, but
Dude, I couldn't do it. I didn't even get to the second person or the third person with 8 minutes.
you would think a reenactment would be a reasonable thing for a good defense attorney to do, given
Right.
this situation.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I appreciate you. Sorry for the first time that you tried to pop
Hey
up.
man, I'm new to your stream. I haven't really said nothing much, but man, I'm here. I'm in this. I'm watching your videos every day.
Well, I appreciate you. Thank you for tuning into the Hive. I will see you in the chat, brother. Thank you so much. Cheers. And all right, we got LA Mike for the last call of the evening, and goddamn Hive. We've been infiltrated. Not the last call per se. I'm not saying that, but I have a feeling Jeff H, Viviana, Ashley Banfield, some sort of minions. They've infiltrated the late night call in. They've known that I've been drinking Busch lattes. They know that I have ADHD, that I'll listen to all these rants. And we got a little bit got tonight. So I think the next call in we do, it's going to be like those restaurants where you go to and the servers are just like extremely rude to you, but it's like the thing. So maybe that's what I'll do. And if you're rude back, that's how I know you've been tuning in, because you're aware of it. You're aware of this right now. Nonetheless, all right. LA Mike, for the love of God, bring us home, save us.
What's going on, Berdino?
I got my Berdino jersey on, actually.
I know, I saw it, man.
Yeah.
I mean, no, I'm not checking you out. That's weird. But,
okay.
Yeah, no, I'm not, But did you hear that MSNBC and McDonald's are doing like this marketing deal? Yeah, so McDonald's is bringing out the Co-Burger, and they slice it in half before you get to the window. All right, I'm sorry. All right, dude, I'm sorry. I had to add to the madness.
All I wanted was just to have a relaxing night
right,
in the
dude.
Hive, drink some
I
beers,
know.
hang out with my friends.
Well, bro, I went out to dinner after work. I had 4 vodka and tonic. I was perfect. And now I've been sitting here for 3 hours. I'm hungover, and I don't know what I just listened to. Some of it great, most of it not. Anyway, so here's the thing. What do you think about this whole like Gonzalez, or I don't know what they call
The
themselves?
WSU thing.
Yeah, I think personally, I think it's strategic so that they can get a civil lawsuit so that they dig into it and actually find out what happened. Because wasn't like, haven't they been saying they want to know what really happened?
Well, I'm glad you bring that up. That's what next week on Wednesday we're going to be diving into with actual legal people.
Oh,
However,
well, I slept at a Holiday Inn Express last night, so I think we're good.
let me just say this. My theory is this. I believe that it's one of two things. One, I think that it's going to be something that is completely separate from the criminal timeline as we know it. Do I think they're going to put into the discovery the NIJ funding? Because again, even in the article, it's saying the victims' families are alleging that WSU brought Brian Koberger to WSU, right?
Right.
Which is odd. Like they're creating the conditions that made this crime. Like, I guess like they created the conditions for the crime to happen. There is,
Which I don't buy. I mean, that's crazy.
there's less of a burden of proof needed for a civil case, but like way less from a criminal standpoint. With that though, it's too bleak and bland and not detailed enough if that's all they try to claim from conversations that I've had with lawyers. That would be easily argued against, like very easily. They wouldn't even lose sleep over that.
Okay. What about this, bro? Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, buddy.
Well, just to finish that point, but if they can show proof that Brian Koberger did end up at WSU because of a certain program, funding, whatever it may be, and WSU had accepted these funds, which would have maybe incentivized Brian to apply there, that's a different story.
That's different. Yeah, I get that.
Right.
What about this, man? So you've got all this stuff going on right now. Like, do you remember when Democrats and Republicans used to argue and like not even talk to each other because they hated each other so much, like 2 years ago? Now I feel like it's us versus the powers that be. Like,
I do think, like, to an extent, you'll see that on TV, right? Like kind of like a puppet show. But yes, I get your point.
yeah, like the FBI, no one trusts, like the Charlie Kirk thing, this thing.
The
There's other
Epstein
stuff
thing.
going on. Yeah, it's just, and have we seen any footage from Charlie Kirk as far as like I mean, we saw him get thrown in the back of the car or whatever. I know we're sticking to Koberger, but we haven't seen any pictures from that either. So it's just interesting. I just don't buy it, man. Have you seen an interrogation with Koberger? Like,
no, didn't what's I'm blanking on it.
What?
Freaking Jules, the one that shit all over Will for the motocross. That chick.
Oh yeah,
Jules.
yeah.
She did do a great job in getting some paperwork right that had said Koberger's interview doesn't exist, or they won't release it, which is just crazy.
Yeah, so I'm thinking
like,
psyop.
dude, like, it's just like, come
psyop
on.
after psyop. I think personally, man. I don't know what you think. I think I know what you think, but
Here's what I think. I think that something that's very straightforward and true, if people really got murdered in this manner, none of us would be here.
Right.
Like, dude, I've seen, I guess I quote, I've seen, but what I'm trying to say is, like, And somebody just said we deserve better psyops. Yeah, no shit. we
Yeah, no
do.
shit.
Like at least like make them. Actually, I don't even want to incentivize them, but it's like
Make it so we can figure them out eventually. This is
you
terrible.
get rid of the lone wolf thing. The lone wolf thing's like, come
It's
on.
played out. It's played out pretty
We
hard.
got the internet now.
Yeah,
Come
yeah.
on.
Yeah, get two of them anyway. Besides the
Yeah.
furry. Besides the furry, yeah.
So it's like, to your point though, you know, you bring up the Charlie Kirk, you bring up the Epstein, you bring up the Brian Koberger, you bring up so many things that we're told. Although we have a face to put to Brian Koberger, we have a face to put to Epstein, we have a face to put to, you know, Charlie Kirk. At the end of the day, the investigation does seem to turn into this invisible enemy. And there's a common denominator in that invisible enemy. There's always, you know, the war on drugs, the war on terror. There's the anonymous sources, right? There's
Right.
only things that the government or the powers that be or the media, they can see. So they are the trusted source of information of, you know, what this invisible enemy is. And with the internet, that shit just doesn't fly. It's over
Yes.
with. It's dead. And that's why, like, I've been motivated to get on here every night and speak my mind about that. Because if you can just wake up to this faux invisible enemy, you will see things so much more clear. When you see, like, even for example, Brian Koberger was allegedly suicidal, or he hates losing control.
Right.
And this comes from a former anonymous source who used to work at a prison that we don't get their name. So
Right.
is
all
that
of-
real?
All those cases just lie. They just will lie straight to everybody's face. And the problem is 80%, I guess, still watch the mainstream. My dad does. He doesn't know what YouTube is, right? So like I talked to him about this. He's like, "What? Really?" I mean,
Well, dude,
they're
it's
going to
just
eventually die out, but
oh, Christ. I mean, but dude, you think about it. Let's talk about the fact of the people like me, the people like you, the people like the ones that are in the Hive and many others. We don't have to agree. We just have to stop turning against each other.
right.
We have to see through this division, because, you know, while we can sit here and dissect a specific case about like what would they do, you know, to cover this up, right? We're looking at like a ground level of the biggest of big pictures. Well, if you were running the world, the country, a 3-letter agency, the one thing that you would not want is for people to all emotionally agree. You would want to divide them on things that are like this characteristic, like there's like a characteristic of people's personalities that are embedded in them. And you'd
Yep.
want to divide them on that, whether it be an upbringing, whether it be whatever it is. And we all know the things. I mean, we could name them.
They've been doing it for years. I mean, and they've been
Years,
doing it well.
decades.
They've been doing it really well, actually.
And my point is not that we have to agree on all of that.
Yeah.
We're not ever going to.
Yeah.
But
open your mind. If we can just open our minds and just have a conversation, that's the goal. You know?
but rather see past it, dude. We have to be like, all right, whatever. Yeah, that's fine. I think differently than you on this. Bet. Okay. Well, we
Right.
have the same enemy. The same enemy is the guy at the top.
Exactly. That's the point.
And I'd rather bitch at you than be under their thumb.
Yep. That is the point. And when that doesn't happen, things get so emotional down under the surface between, you know, family, whatever. And they don't even know what they're arguing about. It's pretty pathetic, but the enemy is at the top for sure. Agreed.
Yeah. And I guess how I would finish that kind of soapbox speech out is it's hard for me at times. I try to remind myself that what is it that you know, this channel, the Hive, is, or whatever. And that's maybe corny or cliche to people, but there are things that I have even challenged myself on that I've said, to everybody in here about viewpoints prior to being on camera that maybe I had a different opinion on. But I'm like, if I'm going to do this, I can't be a hypocrite about it. And I have to challenge myself to not only open the conversation up to it, but actually be able to hear it. Right.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's not just with the Idaho 4. I mean, it's just with everybody in here. We have a multitude of people that are different backgrounds, whatever it may be, different countries, different. And the more that I do it, the better and the easier it gets for me. As far as like, this is what I've always thought from this is how I think we're gonna beat the system.
Yeah.
But I've had to challenge myself to actually do it. I hope that makes sense. Like I
It
said,
makes
I'm
total
five,
sense.
six bush lights deep, but in my head
no,
that
it
made
makes total
sense.
sense. I saw a cop who retired, after like 40 years, and they asked him, what changed after 40 years from when you first started, and he's like, acceptance of people, like homeless people I used to look down on, and now I realize that there's, it's just changes your mind to different, people people that struggle or whatever, they're different. Acceptance, I guess, was his biggest answer. So
Yeah, yeah. And dude, I appreciate you coming on here and finishing this call
yeah,
or
man, I
finishing the
appreciate you
call-ins.
having me on.
Yep. And with that, Hive, I'm not gonna bounce, but I am gonna stop taking the call-ins here. Tonight was different. Tonight was I don't even know what happened. There was some good calls. There was some, I don't even know. Man, I'm speechless, I'm speechless. And here's what I'll leave everybody with. I've been working on a timeline that I don't think anybody's ever heard before. Discord Dawn and I talked on the phone earlier today for about an hour, and I kind of floated it out there to her. And the fact that she didn't think I was crazy is a good sign to me, because she's usually one of the first people to tell me that I'm crazy. I'm lining it all up. I want to have visuals. I don't even want to, give a teaser for this one. This is different than anything that I've ever done. This is not a tinfoil hat conspiracy, but rather I think that I've figured out. I think I figured out what the camera manipulation is on Linda Lane, on the Banfield, and I think that I've put it together close enough to where this window of the crime happening, when I line it all up together, is going to blow people's minds. And I'm not trying to hype it up anything more than that's something that I'm working on. I'm going to end up leaning on you all for that when I do put it out there. But dude, I'm telling you, I think I hope that when I put this out there, people, because it is so different. It's such a different timeline. I really hope that people take what I'm saying and I don't know, keep an open mind to it. Look into it. Prove it wrong if they have to, look into it that way. But I've never seen anybody say it, and it blew my own mind. I also did email Sherlock. I haven't heard back. So, I don't know. I hope Sherlock's all right. But nonetheless, thank you to everybody that did call in. If you were somebody that infiltrated the hive, well, that's for you. And with that, Hive, I will be back on tomorrow morning. What is it? 11:15-ish. I'll be back on tomorrow before noon live. And I might tomorrow give a little bit of a glimpse into what it is that I'm working on, because there's like two aspects of it that I haven't been able to lock down. Here's what I'll leave you with. If you guys would not mind, if you're not going to go to bed soon, please look into the following. One, if anybody has the like anything in writing about the rumored 301 911 call, like this original, there was an attempt to call 911 at 301. If anybody has that, that would be huge, because that is going to corroborate damn near the entirety of this theory. Okay, I've been searching far and wide for it. Secondly, has anybody been able to confirm if it is Dylan arriving back at the house that you see on the Linda Lane footage? Like, is that just like in our circle thing that we think it might be? Is there anything that is like a dead giveaway that it is her arriving, you know, in the 5 to 6 a.m. or 6 to 7 a.m. car park Linda Lane footage? Those two things would help me out immensely. And I know that it looked like her, but so anyways, I'll leave it at that. I hope everybody has a great night. Thank you to my mods. Thank you to everybody that did call in, to everybody that gave a super chat. And with that, Hive, I will see you all tomorrow, like I said, before noon Central Time. Cheers.